I teach art, not art therapy. Supposed to be, if I do it right, equal parts hilarious and horrifying, because that is my job. Okay, so I drew Freud with an arrow through his head because we've all wanted to shoot Freud with an arrow at some point in our lives. Let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, so this is where I work. Nestled high in the sleepy mountains of Berkshire County. It's lovely, it's bucolic. There can be found a little residential school with flowering trees, a garden patch, acres of well-manicured landscapes, and stunning vistas of the Berkshires. This right here is my school. This is one of them, Allison, don't worry. Okay. In these hallowed halls of learning, we share our collected wisdom with a small population of emotionally disturbed youngsters. Every day, they drag themselves out of bed with only minimal swearing and ready themselves for a stressful day of learning, which they face stoically with. Yeah, that was my boys. That, if you were wondering, is a chair being thrown through a window. Seen that 3 times. Okay. All right. At this point, I would like to mention that to survive in such a heartbreaking, dangerous, and intense environment, a certain amount of dark humor is required. So consider that your dark humor disclaimer. Okay. I work with basically 3 populations. Who's that? Okay. Number 1 is the autism spectrum disorder. I work with varying kids of functional levels, from high functioning, nonverbal, Asperger's, to pretty minimal function. This picture right here, this is my 270-pound slapstick comedian, shown here with his favorite rag doll. Okay. Second population, the sexually aggressive students. This is a kind of a misnomer. They're not all aggressive, but this is the group, this is the one that people freak out when I tell them what I do. And they're like, oh, I can never work with that population. They even say that within my own agency. But really, this is probably the easiest group to work with, because they don't have the conduct disorders. Yeah, okay, so basically, you ever heard of a conduct disorder? They got all sorts of wonderful scientific names, like oppositional defiant disorder and intermittent explosive disorder. And when you break down all those words, what does that mean? Asshole on a clinical level. Yeah. Science. Okay, so what do you do with such a wildly varying population? You teach them art. My first day I walked in, I slapped my portfolio, minus the nudes, down on the table, and I said, do what I tell you, and it'll make you a better artist. The crazy thing was, they actually listened to me. It worked. So you teach them art. You do not teach them art therapy. They get plenty of therapy. They get 2 or more sessions a week at the residential schools. I hone their skills. I teach them to accurately observe the natural world. Just like in math, there are rules in art that need to be followed, and the kids like rules. No feelings. Otherwise, we're just finger painting. I never ask my students to draw what they feel. First off, they'd be immediately suspicious that I was secretly a therapist. And second, it's not my job. My job is to teach them art. Anything beyond that's just me being a nice guy. I have a degree in art, not anything clinical. Okay. So what I do, I stick with the foundations. I teach them the laws of perspective and how to draw from observation. Oh, good, I didn't mix these up. Okay, so that's, to teach, it's exceptionally challenging to teach things like this to the cognitively rigid. We who get this stuff implicitly, we have no frame of reference for how hard it is for them. But I also teach them things like principles of design. I try to impart on them there are specific reasons that art appeals to us, and if they learn the rules, they can manipulate the reactions of their viewers. I teach them about abstraction. I teach them about breaking down a composition to its base elements and to understand it better. These are abstract compositions that I make them do. I give them like 5 compositions in 5 minutes, and they got to, okay? And I give them sharp objects. A lot of staff have walked into my room, seen 8 emotionally disturbed teenagers using linoleum carvers, walked right back out. I will admit that my classroom's not for the faint of heart, but if there's one thing I've learned, it's that kid will stab you with a pencil. They'll stab you with a pen. Because they know that somewhere down the line, they'll get to use that pencil again in the near future. But stab someone with a pair of scissors and, well, no more scissors for you, ever. No knives, no carvers, no nothing that makes art dangerous. And therefore fun. So the bottom line, yeah, this job comes with its hazards. This is just a short list up here. Okay, you could add feet, teeth, and I was reminded just this morning by a student, a guitar. Yeah. But that was actually aimed at someone else, but I caught it. That's okay, because I've got that lunatic icy calm when they go for me. I'm like, Okay. But back to art, not art therapy. For example, once a student had the temerity to say to me in response to an undoubtedly brilliant critique, "It's art, it can't be wrong." This right here, that's my shocked/pissed off face. And several of my coworkers did mention that this was the most accurate picture of me that I drew for this series. Okay, so I looked at him and I said, "Whoever told you that is an idiot." "Our last teacher told us that." "Well, your last teacher was an idiot." I shut him up. And their last art teacher was quite well liked, not the least bit, because she was young and pretty. So I wasn't very popular on that day. But that kid and all his classmates damn sure learned their observational/representational drawing. And that right there, that's my bust of Caesar. I brought in a bust of Caesar for them to draw because they can't draw each other because they don't have the patience for that. And what? You guys don't have a bust of Caesar sitting around your house? We use ours to store funny hats. Right now, it has a World War II helmet on it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm the mean art teacher. I tell them that art is an empirical subject like math and science with rights and wrongs and formulae and procedures and to draw what they see and not what they know, and the proper format for critique, something you like, something you don't like, the difference between impressionism and expressionism, and that nobody cares what the artist was feeling if the art just looks like shit. And they love me for it. Love is maybe a strong word, but they don't bite me as much. And that's it.